Right, hello, my nobody people, because I don't think there's anyone here, unfortunately. However, if there was, I would be saying hello to you. I don't expect there to be a lot of people for this devlog, to be quite honest. It's just the way it is. Let's have a look. I'm just going to tinker, just in case anyone does come and say hello. I'm just going to tinker and do stuff. There is a chat thing, which you could be using if you would like. That's up to you. There we go. So just let nobody in particular know that I'm live. It's hard streaming, okay? Just get that across your head. It's not a license to print unlimited money. People don't just turn up. Right, now, just a couple of things to do whilst I'm doing this. I did want some minor music. So, under stations, let's see, I want, not that one, more reggae, let's have some jazz. Go. Something, my dude, I'm just recording a devlog or devlog or whatever they're called. I'm still not entirely sure. Devlog? Devlog, that's what it is. That's when people talk about what they're doing to nobody in particular, isn't it? God, it took me so long to get bloody Mimi out of the attic. I had to get Thorn to help me. I was going insane. I was using many swear words. Right, where was I? Ah, yes. I suppose I better... Right, it's devlog time. Come join me at Twitch to CG Perks. Or not, if you have something better going on, I guess. Okay, so this is basically this is a devlog. This is just the format of what I'm doing to talk about what I've been up to and what I've been doing this week. So there's been a few things I've been doing this week. Firstly, I've been recovering from the coronavirus vaccine because I had the vaccine, and it's great to get the vaccine when you're offered it, but the side effects can be quite strong. I was up and down for about 4 days. I had it done on Friday. Saturday I was okay. Sunday I felt ill. Monday I felt very ill. Tuesday I felt ill. Today I'm feeling better a bit. Tomorrow hopefully back on course again. We shall see. Anyway, what's been happening since last Wednesday when I didn't do a devcast, because why would I? Okay, well, let's have a look, shall we? So one of the things I did was I did some work on this radio here. Okay, now it's not framed in the best possible way, but if I click play, hang on, if I click play in standard viewport, because this is Unreal Engine you're looking at here, this is what things are made in. So if I was to come up here to the radio is interactive. So if I press on it, the whole idea of the radio is you can tune it in by carrier band, frequency, range dial and carrier range. So for example, if I click carrier band to CB1, turn the frequency up a bit, and the range dial, just increase that a bit, and the carrier range, etc, etc. You get the kind of point, right? So we increase them to whatever they need to be, and then I'll test the radio by pressing test. And as you see, the dials will kind of move and do stuff to show that we're setting it to the various correct frequencies or not. And then if it's correct, we'll get the correct signal and something happens, and if we don't, something definitely won't happen. But that took a lot of work, like a big lot of work. I'm going to sneeze as well. Hello, person in chat. Say hello. I am pleased to see you. As the first person here, you win this thumbs up. There we go. Right. On the first official devlog Wednesday. Right, so anyway, creating this radio took flipping ages. If I go into it, the actual... hang on a second. So if I go into the radio by opening up its background code, so Blueprint Editor, there's not actually that much code contained inside of the radio itself. It takes a minute or two to open. So here you can see this is kind of all the handlers that go on inside of here. There. Okay, so here's the handlers inside the radio. There's not too much stuff going in here. So startup signs, switches and frequencies and stuff. But what it also does is the user interface for the radio, which is here. If I go into interface for my widget on RD1, okay, this contains all of the interactivity that's going on for the actual interface itself. So if I go into the graph here, you can see there's an awful lot of stuff gets processed by the actual blueprint itself. It's nothing that's not manageable. I mean, it was good fun to put together, but it took me 4 days, and many thanks to SB, who pulled me out of an incredible fog working on this. So I wasn't exactly sure quite how to reference it properly, and it turned out that you need to do a reference to the calling blueprint if it's an owned interface. Anyway, enough of that. You can see here I've got lots of controls for it that I've built in and stuff as well, and I can even highlight the knobs if I want to, but I'm not. Anyway, some other things I did. So starting last week on Wednesday, it was time to put together the teaser, because I put down the money on the Steam page. By the way, whoever's in the live thing, hello again. Yeah, I put down the money for Steam, which is like $100, and it's there basically to stop people putting quite as much crap up on the Steam page. The actual documents and stuff you've got to fill in for Steam, there is so much of it. Oh my god, you would not believe. I mean, just the application before you even put in the details about your game took me ages, and now it's all been verified, I'm cleared, I've got my Steam developers portal and everything, which looks like well, basically you get access to kind of this page here, and then inside that I can go and use my applications and work on my admin and get everything ready, you see. So this is where everything goes in. There's loads and loads and loads and loads of it, as you can see. Loads of it. So I had to make a teaser. Now, I've never made a trailer or a teaser for well, that's not true. I've made a teaser for an idea for a kind of CG film that I made a while ago, and even I thought it sucked balls, quite frankly. Hello, viewer. How you doing? Chris. Have 2 thumbs up for viewer 2. So, yeah, we had, what do you call it? I had this trailer that I made a year or so ago, influenced by the Astarte short movie and stuff like that. It was great fun, but it was rubbish, you know, and I definitely don't have the skills to be doing that stuff, so I'm not going to. Oh, hang on a second, I'm just going to move this because it's, wow, that is not in the right place. Hang on, I'm just moving this chat box. It seems like it's offset and it shouldn't be. Let's move it to there. There we go. You'll only see that if you know what I'm talking about, which you probably don't. There we go. Right, I've got some jazz playing in the background, so that's what's going on at the minute. Any chat that's happening mostly in the channel is just Pretzel Rocks, which is telling people what music I'm listening to, and then the Third Officer, which is a bot that shouts at things posting links. So, go figure. Right, yes, anyway, I needed to put together a teaser trailer for the wiki. Now, I'll be releasing that officially through my Steam page as soon as it's ready, because that's kind of what it's for. But I do have a copy of it available on my actual website, not on cgpirates.com, but on thewiki.com. So if you were to go to thewiki.com, which is just here, and go to teaser 9.0, there's been 9 previous versions of the teaser, and you will get to see the wiki teaser final edit. Okay, please do take your time to have a look at it. I hope you enjoy it. It should give you enough of a rough kind of intimation of what the game's about. Again, there's only one person working on this, so you know, it's just one of those things where my game's good, you know, and what I'm doing is good, but at the same time, I know I'm not a time-served, like, trailer-making master, so go figure. Anyway, let's go back to this, and move that over there. So, anyway, it took me until, yesterday evening at 8 was when I finished the teaser. Again, I'll bring it down here, and if you'd like to have a look at the teaser, just go to Teaser 9 Test, click play. It's got this beautiful music. Love this music. It's by the Sapphire Sea, if you're interested. Recorded in 1918. Extremely fitting, I think, for the period. And if you actually saw the first trailer to compare it to this one, you know, they're so... You can see kind of how they would have... One would have became the other one. So my initial teaser trailer was... Let me just see if I can find it, because everything's in here. Let's go. So I'll go to the wiki, video editing. There's teaser 2. Let's see, teaser 2 is pretty basic. Teaser version 1. Let's have a look at teaser version 1, shall we? So I'm not sure how well this will stream, incidentally. This is where I had the rough idea. So I had some music and I had an idea of what I wanted, but it wasn't really showing a lot. So we had these kind of cuts. I got a lot of good suggestions from Sasha Hendricks. Really useful stuff there. Some nice feedback, and some feedback obviously from the guys in the Wiki channel on Discord. So again, thanks to everyone there who gave me feedback. This is, like I say, a really basic teaser, this one, if you look at it, with some stuff that obviously didn't make the final cut. And then as we went along, this progressed to, let's see, I've got teaser 6 here, I think. And teaser 6, no, there were some minor changes in teaser 6, but not many. Mostly for the music, and then after that we have tests where we had loads of sepia in it and stuff like that. It was just ridiculous. And then in the end I ended up with hello tiny dog, come say hello to me. In the end I ended up with, I think, I'll go over here. Yep, here's teaser 6. Don't even know where that's playing. Teaser 6.1, which was the last public teaser, and it was far too sepia and dark and washed out, as you can see. So I wasn't very happy with that. Initially I thought, ooh, really old looking, you know, but the problem is it washes out so many of the details. I'd done some different cuts, but they weren't satisfying either. The font was nice, but I mean, if you look at this, we cut from the fuel tank by the quay, and then the idea was to give you a sense of how far it is to take the fuel to the engine room, and it's just a blur. And then this part here, you know, it zooms in on the map, still not showing very much in my opinion. And then here we've got like zooming down this staircase and the glowing symbol, which means nothing. Getting to know your neighbours, that's quite a nice pass, but still too close in my opinion. And then this bit here, which is CH1. And you can't even see it properly, and there is something up there. It's 2,000 meters tall. You see, the whole problem with Lovecraftian kind of eldritch horror is you want to get across the idea that, you know, there's all this like weird stuff, but you don't want people looking directly at it. Horror's a really tricky thing, thrillers are a really tricky thing, because the horror diminishes rapidly as soon as you see the monster, because your body immediately kind of, and your brain immediately comes to terms with what you're seeing. That's why Lovecraft had so many kind of hang-ups on how he described his monsters and how he did things like that. And if you look at some of the best Lovecraft adapted films out there, they don't tend to show a whole lot of monster. You compare that to, for example, The Sinking City. Sinking City was a very good game, but it could have been so much more in my opinion, and they had a habit of, you know, here's the deep ones, let's hang out with them in their town, it's cool, you know. It was... Compare that to Dark Corners of the Earth, for example, which is a really good Cthulhu yarn, a very good story. You know, maybe the graphics aren't great nowadays, but it's probably better than what I'm doing, and it's such a really good game. Or in fact, also look at Clive Barker's, is it The Summoning? I can't remember, but he did a really good one on an island. Really worth looking at. Fantastic premise to it, really strong plot, and a lot of replayability. I mean, I looked at one of the games that's just recently came out that considers itself Lovecraftian, and one of the main critiques they've been getting is that it's only, what, someone said it's about an hour long, maybe 3 if you really take your time. And to me that just seems such a shame to be wasting this canvas. You may as well just film an FMV game if you're only going to make it 3 hours long. My view is that, you know, if I'm playing something and I want to get engrossed in it, I don't want it ending after an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. I want to be able to go and find my own fun where I may. That's one of the reasons why I assembled the island the way I did in the first place. Because of course the island in the wiki, I'll just come over here to my day template near water. If I come over here, I'll not save. Okay. Everything's streaming, by the way, so at the minute it's got to load everything in. Usually, because the level's being streaming, you see, it's much faster because it's only loading the part it needs. Streaming game levels are just an absolute godsend, incidentally. By the way, you can also talk to me and ask things if you want to. I don't feel that I'm unapproachable, because I'm not. I love you. See? Where's my dog's gone? Oh, it ran away. Typical. Right, time for some, see this, caffeine-free Coca-Cola. I always swore I'd never drink this. It's fizzy and brown. Right, here we go. Well, let's get rid of that. Shouldn't be there anyway. There we go, save. Right, so over here we've got all the various streaming parts of the island. And for me, the whole point of the island is that I want to be able to, you know, wander around and do things and explore. That was one of the reasons why I made it myself. My favourite games have always been the ones where you're presented with your scenario and then it's like, where are you going to go from here, buddy? So, you know, that's the whole point of this. You can literally come in right here and rush over to Captain Malin and, you know, get your first job and grab this torch and then rush over there, get some fuel, rush over here to the stairs, zoom up the stairs, do exactly what you're supposed to be doing, quite frankly, you know, and then when you do, go to bed, another day starts. Or, you know, you can see what fate brings. I need to adjust all these doors, so I'm just going to delete them again. Interesting thing happened. I had to load up my backup just the other day for the wiki. I'd only lost about 6 hours work, but when I did, all the doors reset. Now every single door in this game is actually a blueprint, and the problem with these blueprints is that for some reason they'd all reset to their default behaviour state. Now I actually read a thing that I thought was quite fascinating from who was it? I think it was the guys who did Mass Effect and the guys who did, was it the guys who did Mass Effect or the guys who did Dead Rising? I can't remember. Anyway, what it was, they were saying like one of the things that they and most game developers have the most problems with are doors, which, you know, I can fully understand. Doors, you know, they can be a bit of a nightmare, to be quite honest. If I just click play from here, just to kind of show you. Okay, so I'm in first person mode again. So you can see my hands flying around in front of me as I leap from place to place. You see, the problem is I've taken the door out here for the minute, so I can walk through an exit and walk through an exit. That's all not a problem. But once I put the door and the door frame in there, I've got collision meshes for the door and the door frames. That adds a bit of complexity in making sure I can get through it. And then after that, I've also got a couple of things. So, you know, do I have an animation where the hand comes, turns the door and opens the door? And if I do that, do I need another one to shut the door after myself? This is things that like a lot of big game companies kind of have the same problem with. And if we're doing that, there's also additional problems because, you know, will the door shut automatically after me, or do I have to shut the door after me? And if I'm in a game where I've got, you know, mobs and things, do I have to take into consideration whether or not mobs can get through the doors? It depends, you know, there's a lot of things to think about here. So doors have really occupied a lot of time in my calculations for this game. Now, another thing that, sorry, how long have I been doing this? 20 minutes, Christ. Another thing that I gave a lot of thought to is the scale of the island. Now, interestingly, at the minute, what you're seeing here, this was the scale of the island. Okay, this is literally as big as stuff was going to get. So it was going to be a bit smaller than this. The island itself was going to be one of those old-fashioned style kind of islands on a rock thing, you know, and the sea was just going to be lapping at it, rather like these clouds are kind of lapping here for the volumetrics. Now, that's all well and good, but obviously it doesn't lead to a whole lot of exploration. So one of the things I decided on really early on was, well, we'll expand the island out. And if you were watching the progress of the wiki around about this time last year, actually, you'd have seen the parts where I started expanding out the island. Now, down here, if I look over the edge, those old stairs there, they're all part of the old methods that used to be used to like get up the side of this enormous rock. Now, what I did was I actually made stairs that kind of conformed to the rocks, and I actually built a lot of the rock around the staircase. But when I was originally doing it, I tried going for like a supported staircase set, which is how we ended up with these. Hang on, there. So we can, you know, go up and down these things, and yes, they do connect to various parts of the island. However, these are very much now a redundant kind of thing. So they look rickety because they probably are. They may well fall off and kill you. But you can, you know, using these really old stairs, you can find a way to get to places if you need to, as long as you don't fall off the edge and die, which is something you can very much do in the wiki. Okay. Now the wiki's got a very strange, well, not very strange, it's got a very unique way of dealing with player death. I'll just walk through here because I've got collisions turned off. But it's got a very unique way of dealing with player death. You'll come to that yourself though, it's not something I'm really going to discuss at the moment. But, you know, the equivalent of player death is something that does happen. And so it's something that we do kind of address in the game, if you know what I mean. Anyway, let's go down here. Now over here, this is where you would normally see the stone circle. Now there were two different stone circles. Okay, there was the first evolution stone circle, and the first evolution stone circle was literally Stonehenge. I'm not sure if I've still got the file for that one or not. I probably haven't. No, I'm just using this rock circle. But originally, if you came down here, this looked pretty much like Stonehenge. So you'd be like, huh? And I didn't like it. It was rudimentary and basic, and I remembered these rocks here. Now they may not necessarily fit for what I'm doing. I mean, you won't really notice, I suspect, but I kind of noticed that these aren't the kind of rocks that I've been looking for or working with in the past. But these are some of the very first assets that I actually had created for The Outsider when I was first working on my very first Lovecraftian themed game, and I had these rocks in it, and I really liked these rocks. The guy who made them was like really into rocks, so I thought I'd reuse them. Now over here there used to be kind of a very small, what's the word I'm looking for, like a little altar thing. I was going to have like little Celtic altars like in hidden places like that, but I wasn't sure if they worked or not, so I've removed them for the minute. Okay, so let's continue our tour, shall we? So down here we have the block and the bothy, the bothies. So these are small traditional kind of Scottish island houses. Now the island this is based on, up in the Outer Hebrides, is actually abandoned and looks fairly similar to this. It's a very similar layout. The only thing I did was I moved the village from where it was to just around another side of the island to make it a little bit more convenient for me. And then down here I've also got this building here, you'll get to find out what that is eventually, and a few other things, including the sea, which we can't see because I'm using lighting state 1. So let's put lighting state 2 on. You can probably see it a little bit clearer if it doesn't crash. There we go, there's lighting state 2, or maybe lighting state 3. 3's a little bit dark though. You see, I use these to alternate between the different moods for the lighting in my scene, so I can get a better idea of what's happening. And then over here is just a place where I've been testing the ocean stuff. So as you can see, I'm still not 100% happy with the ocean stuff because it creates some rather hefty cliffs, but it's getting there, so I'm going to continue playing with it and working with it. Okay, now I don't really have anything that I want to add at the minute because I've got so much work to do, to be quite honest, in getting this stuff kind of ready. Let's come around here. I've got so much work to do in getting this stuff ready, it's just ridiculous. So turn that on. So if anyone is in channel, I know there is, but I don't think anyone wants to ask any questions, and wants to ask any questions, please feel free. Okay, I'm here to answer questions. Incidentally, this walkway is the historical kind of way from, I don't know, 1910 of trying to reach the other side of the island that just didn't work out. So parts of it fell into the sea and made everyone unhappy. Hello, new viewer, I hope you're doing well. Please, if you wish to ask a question, go ahead. If you don't want to ask a question, or you're shy or bashful or whatever, that's cool too. Okay, that's cool too. I've had some questions regarding what this is and where these little carts go that are loaded with wood. You'll find out. It's part of the storyline. Okay, got to remember, well, you can't remember because I've never told you, but a lot of the islands in the Outer Hebrides, trees don't grow there because you've got this really salty kind of wind hitting these very open places. So you get these kind of scrubs and these incredibly hardy sheep, and you don't tend to get, you know, too much tree. So there was a lot of wood importing going on. So if you want furniture or you want to build anything, you need to maintain and bring in a certain amount of lumber as much as possible. Now over here on this side of the island, there's all kinds of Scooby-Doo like mysteries going on. I will not be showing you what they are because I'm very, very mean, but because I'm feeling kindly, I will show you what the inside of the lighthouse looks like because I love my lighthouse. Okay, it hasn't got the door on at the minute. Remember what I was saying about doors? Okay, the doors are going back on again probably tomorrow, to be quite honest. They need to, so I'll probably put the doors back on then. Okay, so what am I doing at the moment? Well, I've got to get, as I've said, I've got to get the wiki ready for going up on Steam. Now, the early version of this, okay, I'm telling you guys this before anyone else, even though I don't know who you are, but the early version of this is going to go probably live in a couple of months, 2 to 3 months. After that, it'll be in early for about a year because I will be adding extra endings and doing tweaking, refining during that year. The game's price is just going to be the same as other games of this type. It'll be the same price as the game I was mentioning that's only about an hour long, for example, and I can tell you it's already over an hour long. So you've got 14 days of plot and 14 days of, you know, full voice acting, and there's also some add-ons that are coming for this. There's no extra cost for it, you know, but there's going to be things like 2 extra modes you can play in, and there's also one of which will be cooperative online, and there's also oh crikey, what's it called again? God, it's gone. Oh well, it'll come back to me. But anyway, that'll do for the minute. Oh, third viewer. So I've just reached kind of 30 minutes of broadcasting, my lovelies. Like I say, if anyone who is in the chat for this wants to ask anything or say anything or do anything, please do. Okay, that's what it's here for. Now in this week's upcoming stuff that I'll be doing, depending on how well I'm feeling, because obviously I have been feeling a hot mess, I will be working in the old temple Oh, hi, Yuck Yuck. Yeah, there's loads, to be honest. You know, I mean, obviously I'm 49, so I've got plenty of references I'm going to be throwing into this and various things. I'm not sure if they'll be linked to achievements, finding some of the Easter eggs, but yeah, there'll be plenty of Easter eggs, not just Lovecraftian ones either, plenty of pop culture ones. For example, I do refer to other games, you know, but this isn't part of the plot, so I'm being careful not to let my Easter eggs and my kind of little things you can find basically, you know, take a place of a plot. If you find something, it's going to be up to you. You remember how Batman did it? You kind of find something, you go, oh, that's a reference to such and such. I always thought that's the best way, you know, you don't want it taking over the plot. There, at no point is there going to be like Captain Malin telling us we have to find 10 McDonald's or something, you know, it's just not the way it's going to work. Another thing that will be happening as well, Yuck Yuck, is once it hits early access, I'll be engaging a lot with the Steam community. Now, I looked at how... what was the name of the game again? Subnautica, that's right. Subnautica did a very similar thing in that, you know, they released their game with basically the storyline parts intact and wanted to see which direction it would be going from there. And I think that's a very good way of doing it. It democratises game development to a certain degree. I don't have to take on all of these things that, you know, people are suggesting, but at the same time, if someone has a good idea they think is going to make the game better, I certainly can go, well, can I try that and see how it looks, and if it works, brilliant. You know, that's the whole point of it. I have taken suggestions already. Funny enough, there's a lot of the development process of this is because I've came at it from an artist, even though I'm an artist that has a deep love of, you know, thrillers and horrors and detectives and things like that. The actual storyline for the wiki, looking at it when it first started development 15 months ago, was so much thinner than it is now. It was literally just going to be a game where, you know, you worked in a lighthouse, and if you didn't keep the light on, something bad happened. That was the premise of the original wiki. And then I sat down with, well, Amanda and I sat down, and she was like, well, what about this, 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 and this? And I was like, well, that's so much better than what I was doing. And so it started developing from that, from the idea that you're this junior lighthouse keeper, and you can do all the jobs you're given to keep the lighthouse running. You can keep your head down, you can make the lighthouse work, and at the end of your 2 weeks, you can get back on the boat and go back to mainland Scotland, and it's like nothing's happened. You'll just miss everything else that's been going on, but it doesn't matter. You've been a lighthouse keeper. Well done, you got the I am a lighthouse keeper ending. Or you can do the obvious thing that most people are going to do, which is, you know, what is that over there? What's that fire over there in the distance? What's inside that cave? What happens if I do find a way to go in this door? What frequencies does this radio go to? What's behind the doors on the dock? Is there a faster way to get to the top of the island with all this stuff that I've got to carry? You know, where does Captain Malin go when he's not working? Do we know anything about Captain Malin? What about the other guy, Bill Cromarty? Is it Bill Cromarty? No, you're Bill Cromarty. Jack Fisher, that's it. What about Jack Fisher? You know, what's Jack Fisher up to? Because there's 2 other guys on the island, because Lighthouse has always had a 3-person crew. And then there's other stuff as well, you know? It's like, where did everyone in the village go? What's in the old mine workings? What's underneath the island? What's on Connor's Rock? What's over there? Can I get to the other side of the island? Why is there a fence dividing off these parts? Why is there an observatory? All of these questions, you know, they're not things that get thrown into your face. There is no big checklist that goes, today I shall go and, yeah, there's no cash off my home in San Francisco. Go away. You know, there's all these questions and all these things you can do, but they're not explicitly told to you. So, tell you what. Oh, thank you, Yuck Yuck. Well, I mean, I'll explain one of the minor, well, major puzzles to you, okay, is to do with the radio. Now, radios, frequencies, all this kind of thing. Remember, again, we're dealing with weird fiction and 1936 and stuff like that. So, for example, if you find a radio, so there's a radio over here, if I find a radio and I know, you know, what to tune it to, I know what numbers to tune it to, and I know which wavelengths to tune it to, and all of this kind of thing, then maybe I can open new parts of the island somehow that have never been opened up before. Maybe I can do things that I haven't done before. But there's 37.5 million combinations of frequency on that radio, so the chance of you finding it's pretty low, really low. So how are you going to find it? You're going to have to look around and do some research. You know, you're going to have to find some clues. You're going to have to find out if there's any references to these bizarre and esoteric frequencies. So, you know, lucky we've got books, isn't it? Lucky we've got, you know, radio programs. Lucky you've got people you can talk to. Old maps, a weird observatory, you know, caves filled with old stuff, bizarre crypts. You want some other weird stuff to look at, you'll like this, yep, okay. Everything has symbology, so if I zoom in on, there we go, I'll use these paintings for the minute. So, here we go. So if I zoom in on these paintings here, all of these paintings have different meanings too, okay. It doesn't matter if you want to look at them closely or not, they all have different meanings, but as well as which, all of these paintings, if you look at them, they're all a bit wrong. And it's going to take people a while to work out why that is. If I go over here, oopsie daisy, if I go over here for example, while the paintings look relatively normal and they're all fairly high definition, as you can see, they're not. Because all of the paintings were made, in reality, using artificial intelligence. I got an AI to create hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of paintings for me based on basically my, oh look at these doors, see what I mean, all these reset doors now, I have to go back and do them all. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so all the paintings in this, they're all laid out in certain patterns for certain reasons. Now some of them are personal to me, you know, so for example this one here, I believe, is, yeah, that one celebrates my oldest son's birthday. So the reference in there is actually for my oldest son, but you wouldn't see it, and he won't even know because I doubt he'll even play this. Those three pictures there. And then over here, these paintings are, let me see, that's painting 12, painting 19, yep, so that one's representing my daughter, my oldest daughter. You see, everything has a reason in some way or another. Oh, for God's sakes, door, go on, off with you. I've got to replace all these doors. It's right though. Give it a second to save. There we go, nearly done. I'll just turn my speed up. Another thing that I'm going to be doing now that I've finished a lot of my other work is I'm going to be deleting that door. I'm going to be refurnishing the other rooms of the house, because I got as far as this room, which is basically the map room study, which has the map of St. Pandora's Rock, and I've actually got all of upstairs left to do yet with the bedrooms and things, and there will also be a delightful indoor toilet, which I believe is this room here. So this is where our indoor toilet will be with all mod-con plumbing. So something for you to look forward to there. Okay, so does anybody have any more questions, or is there something you would like to see before I, you know, before I go for the night? Because I've got other things that I'm going to have to do, including this logo. It's not going to make itself, unfortunately. Oh, the third officer. I'm going to be removing you soon. There we go. I'll turn this up. I've got so much stuff to do to get this water sorted out, and I've got a nagging suspicion everything's crashing. If you're still watching this, there we go. I think it had crashed for a brief while. I bet I've dropped a few frames there. Such is life. Dismiss. Put my details panel back where it belongs. Oh, stop it, dog! There's nobody here except me. Fine, you just scream at the lack of burglars. Lack of burglars for you. I'm on the wrong side of the island. There's things down this side of the island. Things. Turn the speed up. There we go. Oh, I see, someone's walking a dog outside. Doggies, please be quiet. Anyway, from Clyde Diesel and myself, shush. Yeah, I was wondering if the audio would still be going okay. Yeah. I am going to leave it there, I think. Oh, except I've got 5 viewers now. Hello, David Miranda. And David Miranda's just followed. And Timothy has just followed. Timothy and Architect Cozil has just followed. So, hello, you lovely new people. I'm tempted to stay here now and say hello to you, but I don't know. Tell you what, Nyuk, you've been here for a while, and it says 77, so I'm assuming that you were born in 77, which was a damn fine year. I was alive that year. So, is there anyone on the island you want me to go to, or do you think we should be done? I haven't even tweaked the main character recently, so I'm not even sure he can make it up the stairs at the minute. Oh yeah, there's also a third person and first person version. Just I'm not sure if I'll use third person. I know I'm a little bit behind on the old thing. By the way, there's a message as well saying no active level sequencer detected. There's a reason for that. Did I grab the torch? I'm sure I did. Oh my god. Well, the lighting is dynamic. Originally the lighting was not going to be dynamic, however, building the lighting for the island and the resulting file size was just going to be too big. I did consider having different lighting states. Obviously if you know about UE4, you'll know about lighting states. Incidentally, normally you can just walk up the stairs, but I've got his step height set too low at the minute. And what would happen is you'd... yeah, so anyway, build states. I had it all set up as like one big level, and I was going to do the lighting build on that, and I think I left it building for days and days, and it was not going to work. And in the end I realised that, well, I'll just do the light dynamically and see how that goes. I don't need to have too many lights in to make it, you know, too dynamic, and I can turn on and off lights as they're needed, which is a big help. So for example, the engine room, which has plenty of lights here, I can just unload in the blueprint and it won't be there anymore. If I can ever get this bloody eyeball to go out. There we go. So, you know, we can turn this off, which is great for if we're down there over the edge where you can't see this, or if we're up there, you know, inside the lighthouse keeper's house. We unload things and the performance really increases a lot. There's obviously lots of things to kind of look out for in this. You've got to be really, really careful. But I think developing this for the first year on a NVIDIA 1060, it kind of taught me an awful lot of lessons about optimization, to be quite honest. Right, I am going to stop streaming this bit, and I'm going to get on with doing the water, which needs to be fixed, while listening to Au revoir Simone and the Bird of Music, which is a fantastic album that I found thanks to David Lynch. So, I think until next Wednesday, for anyone who will be watching my stream, I will be doing this again at the same bat time, same bat channel. So, you take care, my buddies. Nyuk nyuk. You stay safe, and I will be talking to you again, hopefully, when I stream again as well. And whoever